Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Ini Novel dulu yang nampak nih. Novel. Unmute please. Can you hear me?
Can, Doctor.
Okay. Ada Isa nih. Alright. So I will do concurrent session. I have another seminar and then I need to see patient juga lah. Tapi patient belum sampai lagi. So maybe in the middle of the session nanti we will need to stop to pause few minutes maybe ya. So tak apa ya. Because I just hear kan, I just listening, you present. Siapa yang present today? Who gonna be present?
Me, Doctor.
Nama Syarifah ya. Syarifah Nurhayati ya. One case only?
2 case.
Another one siapa?
Naufal.
Novel tadi. Okay. Who will start first?
Irene.
Syarifah dulu.
Uh-uh.
Okay, you may start.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sharifah Nurhayati. I'm going to present a case of my patient. I know Arisha, 3 years, 4 months old, Malay girl with no medical illness was referred to emergency department of IIUMC due to diarrhea for 1 day duration. The history was taken from her mother. The patient had sudden onset of diarrhea 1 day prior to the admission since morning and persistent until night. The episodes of diarrhea occur more than 5 times. Her mother claimed that it was only in small volume for each episode, estimated about 1 cup for total loose stool on that day. The stool was watery in nature and yellowish in color. There was no blood or mucus present. It was associated with mild abdominal pain, no nausea and vomiting. On further questioning, the patient had fever for 6-day duration prior to the admission. It was gradual on onset and on and off in nature. The fever peaked at night, evidenced by the presence of chills and rigor. The mother claimed that the fever was moderate grade, but no temperature was recorded. It was associated with runny nose, with clear nasal discharge and nocturnal cough, start on the same day of fever. The cough was non-productive, not chesty, and on and off in nature. There was no non-aggravating or triggering factor. On the 2nd day of illness, her mother brought her to the MyHealth clinic and was prescribed with antibiotic to be completed within 5 days. Paracetamol shot, cough shot, and also anti-flu. The temperature recorded was 39 degrees Celsius on that day. The mother claimed that the symptom did not resolve despite of being compliant to the medication. The fever was continuous and only temporarily relieved by the paracetamol. On the 5th day of illness, the mother noticed that the cough became worsened and more frequent in the morning. The cough described as chesty cough and it was associated with post-tussive vomiting. She vomited about 5 to 6 times in a day. The vomiters contain minimal amount of clear mucus. Otherwise, no barking cough, no whooping cough, and no noisy breathing was heard. The mother brought her to the clinic Roslina on the same day as she had rapid breathing and chest indrawing. The general practitioner claimed that she might have lung infection. She was treated with nebulization once and suppository paracetamol. She was prescribed with antibiotic, cough shot, and anti-flu. The previous medications were stopped. On the 6th day of illness, she had more than 5 episodes of diarrhea, despite of unresolved fever, cough, and runny nose. Her mother brought her to Clinic Roslina again that night and was referred to IIUMC. Her mother claimed that since the 3rd day of illness, her daughter had poor oral intake and loss of appetite. She became less active, looked lethargic, and spent more time to rest and sleep. But there was no difficulty to wake her up. Otherwise, no sore throat, no shortness of breath, chest pain and tightness, headache, and any episode of convulsion. There was no retroorbital pain, conjunctival suffusion, arthralgia, myalgia, skin rashes, and also any bleeding tendency. No symptom of severe dehydration, such as loss of consciousness or reduced urine output. No symptom of malnutrition, such as weight loss and failure to thrive. She had no similar presentation before. Currently, no family member had similar diarrhea episode currently. She had seek contact with her mother, who had upper respiratory tract infection since 2 to 3 weeks ago, but still unresolved until the day of clocking. Her father also had upper respiratory tract infection, but already resolved last week. Otherwise, no history of eating outside, and they are not living in dengue-prone area. As for the systemic review, generally there is no significant weight loss. Head and neck, no neck stiffness, neck swelling, abnormal eyes or ear discharge, ulcer and also gum bleeding. Cardiovascular system, no palpitation, orthopnea, paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, and also death cyanosis. Respiratory system, no hemoptysis, night sweat, wheezing, and also stridor. Gastrointestinal system, no dysphagia, hematemesis, abdominal distension, heartburn, and jaundice. Genital urinary system, no frothy urine, frequency, dysuria, nocturia, polyuria, hematuria, incontinence. Neurological system, no loss of consciousness, dizziness, photophobia. Hematological system, no history of gum bleeding, epistaxis, and easy breathing. Musculoskeletal system, no muscle cramp, muscle weakness, myalgia, and arthralgia. For past medical and surgical history, this was her first admission to the hospital. She did not have any known medical illness and history of surgery done before. Drug history, she was not on any other medication except for the antibiotic, paracetamol shrub, cough shrub, and also anti-flu prescribed by the general practitioner earlier. There was no non-drug or food allergy. Birth history, antenatally, it was uneventful. The mother went to all antenatal checkup and she did not have GDM, intrauterine infection or PIH. No other abnormality was noted. Perinatally, she was born full term at 39 weeks with spontaneous vaginal delivery at Hospital Tengku Ampun Afsan without any complication. Her birth weight was 2.8 kg. Postnatally, she had neonatal jaundice for 2 weeks duration and had regular checkup at klinik kesihatan. There was no history of admission to the ward due to neonatal jaundice. For feeding and nutritional history, she was on exclusive breastfeeding up to 3 months and stopped breastfeeding when she was 8 months old. Starting the age of 8 months old until now, her mother gave her formula milk. She takes 3 bottles of milk per day, about 160 ml to 240 ml per bottle. She started to wean when she was 6 months old and currently is able to eat adult diet since 1 year and 6 months old. She has a normal adult diet. However, she does not like eating vegetables but deny any problem of constipation. For growth and developmental history, according to her mother, she is growing well, but she had very minimal increase of weight since 4 months old. Thus, she had been referred to a dietitian at Klinik Jaya Gading, and the mother was told there was no any abnormality or problem with her daughter. The last follow-up 2 months ago showed some improvement, so she just need to follow. She just need to follow up at clinic Desa Sungai Panci Selatan as she is still underweight. The developmental milestone of this patient is normal and according to her age. Gross motor, she is able to go upstairs on 1 foot per step and downstairs 2 foot per step and walk on tiptoe. Fine motor, she is able to copy circle and cut with scissors. Speech and language, she can give her full name with gender and also name 2 colors. Social, she can eat, wash hands, and dress independently. For the immunization history, she took vaccination up to her age according to the immunization schedule by Ministry of Health Malaysia. There was no history of missed vaccination or any added vaccination apart from the schedule. No allergic reaction following the vaccination. As for the family history, her father is 32 years old, working as a mechanic with no known medical illness. Her mother is 29 years old, working as a police police official, and has mild allergic rhinitis. She is the only child in the family. There was no history of genetic associated disease, asthma, eczema running in the family. No history of consanguineous marriage. As for the social history, she lived in Felda Panci with her both parents. The house has good water and electrical supply. She is being taken care by her grandmother with no other children. Her father is a smoker, but he does not smoke at home or when being together with his family. Otherwise, her parents do not involve in any high-risk behavior. For the physical examination, general inspection, the child was lying on the bed with septic looking, appeared lethargic and not active. She was pink, not in pain and not in respiratory distress, but was tachypneic with respiratory rate of 42 breaths per minute. She is very thin but not malnourished. There were no dysmorphic features, no neurocutaneous stigmata and nourishes. There was a granular attachment on her left dorsal hand with active intravenous infusion of normal saline. On peripheral examination, both hands were warm. There was no koilonychia, leukonychia, necklabi, and also peripheral stenosis. There was no stigmata of infective endocarditis such as splinter hemorrhage, genuine lesion, and also oscillar node. Capillary refill time was less than 2 seconds. Skin turgidity was normal. BCG scar was noted on the left deltoid. On eye examination, there was no sunken eyes, no conjunctival pallor, no scleral jaundice. On oral examination, the lips were a bit dry. There were no coated tongue, ulcer, central cyanosis, and also inflamed tonsils, but the throat was slightly injected. Her hydration status and oral hygiene were fair. On neck examination, there was no lymphadenopathy. On lower limb examination, there was no ankle swelling and no calf tenderness. As for the anthropometric measurement, the head circumference is 44 centimeter, weight 11 kilogram below the third centile, height 94 centimeter below 15 centile, BMI 12.45 kilogram per meter squared below the third centile. As for the vital sign, the blood pressure was 104/81 millimeter mercury, pulse rate 146 beats per minute, mildly tachycardic with regular rhythm and good volume, respiratory rate 42 breaths per minute, tachypneic, temperature 38.1 degrees Celsius, febrile. As for the respiratory examination, on observation, there was no wheeze or stridor heard. Open inspection of the chest moved symmetrically and bilaterally with respiration. The shape of the chest was normal with no chest deformity. Surgical scar or any accessory respiratory muscle used. However, there was mild substernal recession. On palpation, the trachea was centrally located. The chest expansion was normal bilaterally. The tactile parameters and percussion was not done in this patient. On auscultation, there was normal at entry with minimal crepitation at the lower zone bilaterally. There was no rhonchi. The vocal resonance was normal. As for the cardiovascular examination, on inspection of the precordium, there was no surgical scar, visible pulsation, precordial bulge, or any deformity noted. On palpation, the apex beat was palpable at the left fourth intercostal space at the mid-clavicular line. There was no parasternal heave. On auscultation, the first and second heart sound was heard with no murmur. There was no gallop rhythm. Abdominal examination, on inspection of the abdomen was symmetry, not distended and moved with respiration. No scar, no dilated vein, no visible pulsation, and no visible peristalsis noted. On superficial palpation, the abdomen was soft, non-tender. On deep palpation, there was no mass palpable. Liver and spleen were not palpable. The kidneys were also not palatable. The fluid tray and shifting dullness were not done in this patient. On auscultation, the bowel sounds were normal. As for the neurological examination, on inspection, the patient was alert and conscious. There was no cutaneous stigmata, no muscle wasting, no involuntary movement, and no fasciculation. The tone and power were normal for both upper limbs and lower limbs. Neck stiffness was absent. Sensory was intact. Reflex, cranial nerve, and cerebellar function were not accessed. As a summary, my patient, Anu Arisha, a 3 years, 4 months old Malay girl with no non-medical illness and normal development, presented to emergency department of IIUMC on a referral from the clinic Roslina because of persistent diarrhea for 1 day duration. Prior to the admission, is associated with my abdominal pain without nausea and vomiting. It was preceded by a moderate grade fever, runny nose with clear nasal discharge and cough for 6 days duration. She had rapid breathing and chesty cough with 5 to 6 times episodes of post-tussive vomiting 2 days prior to the admission. There was reduced oral intake but no other symptoms of dehydration. There was history of sick contact with mother who had upper respiratory tract infection. On physical examination, she was septic looking, appeared lethargic, not active, and was tachypneic. Peripheries were normal, were warm with normal capillary refill time and normal skin turgidity. There was no sunken eyes, but the lips were a bit dry. The throat was slightly injected. He was still febrile. Respiratory examination revealed mild substerilization. On auscultation, there was minimal crepitation at the lower zone bilaterally. Other systemic examination showed unremarkable findings. As for my provisional diagnosis, my working diagnosis is pneumonia with parenteral diarrhea because the patient had fever, cough, runny nose, rapid breathing, lethargy and loss of appetite. Patient has diarrhea, abdominal pain, history of sick contact with her mother who had upper respiratory tract infection. And for the physical finding, the patient is ill looking, has respiratory distress, manifest as tachypneic, substern and substernal retraction. On lung auscultation, crepitation was heard at the lower zone bilaterally. However, there is no bronchial breath sound was heard. As for the differential diagnosis, the first one is the acute gastroenteritis because the patient has fever, diarrhea, and also abdominal pain. However, points again is that patient has no history of eating outside. Her parents does not have diarrhea, and also patient has was preceded by the upper of the respiratory infection. The second one is dengue fever because the patient has unresolved fever, cough, runny nose, lethargy and loss of appetite, diarrhea and also abdominal pain. However, points again is that patient has no retroorbital pain, conjunctival suffusion and also vomiting, no arthralgia, myalgia, skin rashes and also bleeding tendency, and a patient is not living in dengue prone area. And the third one is the upper respiratory tract infection because the patient has fever and runny nose. On physical examination, she had injected throat, and also she had history of sick contact with her mother who has upper respiratory tract infection. As the points against is that she does not have any sore throat, there is no inflamed tonsils, no cervical lymphadenopathy, and no painful or irritable ear. That's all.
Sorry ya, I have passion first. Nanti tunggu saja ya. Hello? Hello? Ya, doktor. Halo, mana Syarifah tadi? Masih ada?
Yes, doctor.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I have emergency seizure. Tak apalah, sambil on the way, tak apa, we discuss again. Syarifah boleh summarize balik tak?
Okay.
Mana tadi Syarifah? Ya, tak dengar ni. Tak dengar, your voice very slow. Okay.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Mana Syarifah?
Yes.
Boleh tapi tak keras sangat.
Oh, tak kuat
Tak kuat.
Oh.
Can you make it louder please?
Ya, sekejap doktor. Can you hear me now, doktor?
Sama lah, lebih clear juga, tapi suara tak kuat lah, tak apalah. Summarize
Okay.
lagi, guys.
Okay. My patient, Anu Arisha, 3 years, 4 months old, Malay girl with no non-medical illness and normal development, presented to emergency department of IIUMC on a referral from Clinic Roslina because of persistent diarrhea for 1 day duration prior to the admission. It is associated with mild abdominal pain without nausea and vomiting. It was preceded by moderate grade fever, runny nose with clear nasal discharge and cough for 6 days duration. She also had rapid breathing and chesty cough with 5 to 6 times episode of post-tussive vomiting for 2 days prior to the admission. It was reduced, there was reduced oral intake, but no other symptom of dehydration. There was history of sick contact with her mother who had upper respiratory tract infection.
Panjang.
On physical examination, she was septic looking, appeared lethargic, not active, and was tachypneic. The peripheries were warm with normal capillary refill time and skin turgidity is normal. There was no sunken eyes, but the lips were a bit dry. The throat was slightly injected. She was still febrile. Respiratory examination revealed that there is mild substernal recession. On auscultation, there was minimal crepitation at the lower zone bilaterally. Other systemic examination showed unremarkable finding.
Putus ni. Halo, can you hear
Yes,
me?
Doctor. Yes, yes.
Sorry terputus balik. Ada call masuk biasa emergency ni macam ni dia call banyak kali. Oke lah, diagnosis apa your case ni?
Provisional diagnosis pneumonia with parenteral diarrhea.
Okay, so baliklah ni apa your chief complaint tadi diarrhea ke pneumonia? Apa rapid breathing? Because your story tadi begin with diarrhea kan?
Yes.
So the concept of history PE itu to explain your diagnosis. Kalau you begin with chief complaint, main problem diarrhea, diagnosis ya AGE.
Oh,
So if your diagnosis is pneumonia with parenteral diarrhea, you should start with the symptom and chief complaint of pneumonia, usually rapid breathing ya. Dari kan ada memang apa with halo.
Yes, Doctor.
Kan ada history 1 week ya tadi. 1 week QRTI ya. Batuk sesama demam dia seminggu ya?
6 hari.
Okay, ya, tak apalah. 6 hari seminggu, 7 hari sama aja. Okay, and then rapid breathing berapa lama?
Rapid breathing 2 days.
Itulah. So, even the story pun better you go for chronological order. Jangan cerita diare sehari dulu. Cerita ya from awal dulu. Begin with apa namanya? With URTI tadi, demam, batuk sesama dulu 6 hari. Chief complaint ya main problem ya rapid breathing lah dia. So nanti itulah you ambil apa di case rate up yang teruk sangat lah. And then you pun tak buat apa-apa, so we need to learn how to present the case to very clear. Macam ni jadi bercerabut sikit ya. So sketchy lah history itu. So okay ya, maknanya lah we started with apa URTI and then rapid breathing and then diarrhea ya. And then apa few apa namanya tadi description definition pun tadi banyak yang lari juga tadi. Macam persistent diarrhea. Kalau diarrhea one day is not persistent ya. You need to know that persistent diarrhea is not diarrhea for one day. Kalau one day diarrhea, you sebut je berapa kali frekuensi dia. So diarrhea for one day until 1 week itu kita sebut acute diarrhea. Bukan persistent. Persistent itu kalau dia more than 2 weeks every day having diarrhea baru kita sebut persistent diarrhea. Apa lagi tadi? Anything else about the history NPE tadi? Findings apa on respiratory examination?
Respiratory, she was septic looking, appear lethargic, not active, tachypneic. And there is also a retraction, substernal retraction.
Respiration. Yes.
Okay. Okay. On auscultation, there was minimal crepitation at the lower lobe, lower zone.
Okay. Alright, nah. So memang klasik ya. Diagnosis anyone yang nak tanya, ya clear ya, pneumonia ya. Dan ada diarrhea ya kita sebut parenteral diarrhea. So kalau patient in ED with rapid breathing, okay lah, patient arrive in ED ya. So what will you do first? Letak apa dulu?
Pass oximetry to look for
Okay.
SpO2.
And then bagi apa treatment dia?
Apa?
Treatment dia bagi apa? Untuk investigation, you letak pulse oximetry. Untuk treatment bagi apa?
Treatment give oxygen supplementation.
Okay. Udah paham ya. Oximetry, oksigen. SpO2 ada record tak kat situ?
Ada 94%.
Oh, 94% ya. So memang ada some component of hypoxia juga. Okay, so bagi oksigen buat apa? Kalau SpO2 hypoxia ini ada ABG buat tak?
Kalau boleh nak elakkan buat ABG.
Why?
Cause is invasive.
Ya, if necessary ya buat lah. Janganlah after oxygen SpO2 tu boleh pick up tak? Kalau still hypoxia ya to take ABG. Kalau pasien ini severe respiratory distress you must take ABG. Jangan karena pasif kita buat. Ya, kalau perlu ya buat, tapi kalau if not necessary ya please don't do. Karena invasif tak boleh buat. Salah. The indication yang penting. If is it indicated or not?
Then doktor, if the SpO2 daripada SpO2 tu dah rendah, then kita still akan buat ABG juga.
Iya, kalau SpO2 kalau dia hypoxia SpO2 usually less than 90 lah. Kalau still 94 tuh usually patient with nasal prong should be okay. Should be pick up. Okay ya, tuh and then apa lagi investigation yang you kena buat patient pneumonia?
Aku belakang.
Itu kan actually you nak pastikan ini pneumonia apa?
Chest X-ray.
X-ray lah yang penting dulu. MBC itu enak. Apa? Just to help the patient with infection akan nampak apa? Leukocyte tinggi. Okay, apa lagi next?
For the investigation, blood culture and sensitivity.
Yeah. Okay. Actually blood culture kan kalau in case pneumonia, usually kan most likely negatif. So the yield is low karena blood culture kan tengok apa organism in the blood kan. Usually kalau udah develop sepsis baru positif. So actually but we still need to do lah because it is apa namanya routine investigation lah to make sure no sepsis. Tapi ya usually will clear lah no growth. Tapi apa yang lagi penting actually culture dari mana supaya juga the organism tuh kalau in case pneumonia nih?
From the sputum.
Sputum culture ambil. Oke, apa lagi?
Nasopharyngeal aspirate in order to isolate the pathogen. And then renal profile to assess the hydration status and electrolyte imbalance because the patient has episode of diarrhea and post-tussive vomiting.
Oke, tapi diarrhea dia bisa dehydration kan?
Dehydration.
Oh, dehydration?
This patient no dehydration.
No dehydration kan how do you expect ada electrolyte imbalance? Tapi oke lah for pneumonia itu because usually we give up nebulization and still need electrolyte lah tak apa. Alright. Okay, what else?
PCR analysis.
Hah? Apa lagi nih?
PCR analysis to look for the
Janganlah susah-susah. PCR apa lagi nih? Hah? Saya tak tahu apa yang you buat nih. Please don't do something that you don't understand. You buat something you don't understand, macam gali lubang. Gali lubang, masuk lubang, jatuh. Okay, anything else? Sekejap ya, saya masuk lift, maybe apa? Dengar tak?
Yes, Doctor.
So apa lagi? Dah? 3 cukup ya?
Yes.
Dan lah treatment itu bagi apa pasien tadi oksigen dah bagi apa lagi?
IV fluid.
Sorry?
IV fluid with the normal saline. With the NaCl.
Aku sekejap ya. Saya masuk OT sini. Oh sana? Salah pula. Ini terus? Oke. Kunci tak ni? Kunci ya. Oh ya pakai itu. Thanks. Treatment ya fluid boleh. What else? Treatment.
And then give IV drip of dextrose because she had reduced oral intake in order to replenish her carbohydrate. And then give salbutamol,
Penting
nebulization of salbutamol and saline to relieve the symptom.
Main definitive treatment for pneumonia itu yang penting.
Antibiotic, antimicrobial agent. For the first line.
Pasien kan pneumonia. What do you
Yes.
Ada infection. What do you need to give?
Give antimicrobial agent.
Iya, antibiotik kan susah ya sebut ya.
Antibiotik.
Antibiotik lah yang penting. And then you follow the patient. Kasih tahu ada follow patient improve tak selepas berapa hari?
Yes, improve after 3 days.
Okay. Alright lah. Nah, so sorry I need to attend cesarean section. Memang susah lah. Dan lagi satu problem tuh low bed tadi sampai putus 2 kali kan. I think we need to stop lah. But if you want to present another case, maybe we can discuss later lah when to perform. Boleh tak?
Boleh, Dokter.
Yang siapa tadi yang nak present tadi? Siapa tadi nama? Naufal ya? Siapa? Halo?
Naufal.
Itulah. So keep. Kalau we have another session ya nanti masalah next session. Tapi kalau tak ada, nanti we plan lah when we do extra session. Boleh?
Boleh, Dokter.
Okay ya. So anyone? Ada apa ya? Boleh ya? InsyaAllah. Alright. So with that we close with us. Thank you for answers. Alright, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dokter.
Thank you, Dokter.